Hi everyone, so today I want to get into something we all hear about but don't really take part. The idea of mediocrity. We're always told that if you just work hard, you're going to make it. Simple, right? Well, looking at it of the work of Tracy Ore, Swasa, and McLaurin Harris, I want to show why the story doesn't tell a whole truth. We're going to talk about how race, class, and gender are set to create this less than label that honestly is just a lie. Why is it so hard? I know talking about race and inequality can feel awkward or heavy. It's hard because it makes us look at where we've had helped and where we've been blocked. But like McLaurin Harris say, we can't fix what we're too scared to look at. We have to get past that uncomfortable feeling if we actually want to get to the truth. The myth of less than. Let's look at this less than myth. Back in 2019, Sueza pointed out that society usually talks about minority success like it's a handout or some kind of favor. There's this vibe that if a minority person succeeds, they didn't really earn it. But Sueza breaks this down and he shows that it isn't about how smart or capable someone is. It's a tool used to keep things exactly how they are. If everyone thinks the system is fair, no one asks why the same groups stay at the top. It's not a handout. That brings us to affirmative action. People love to call it reverse discrimination, but Sweza sees it as a corrective tool. Think about it like this. If you're in a race or someone keeps tripping you for 5 laps, giving you a clear lane now isn't a bonus. It's just finally fixing the damage. We aren't lowering the bar, we're just making it possible for people to actually run the race. The Head Start reality. Let's look at some real numbers. McClure and Harris give us a reality check on wealth. Look at this. White families have a median wealth of about 188,000, while black families are at 24,000. And the wildest part, a white high school dropout usually has more wealth than a black college graduate. If everything was just about hard work, those numbers wouldn't make sense. It proves that what you start with matters just as much as how hard you work. The matrix of the domination. Trace Ore uses the term I love the matrix of domination. It basically means you can't just look at the race by itself. You have to see how race, class, and gender all pile up on top of each other. A woman of color who's struggling financially faces a whole different matrix of walls than a guy who's well off. These identities are built to work together, either opening doors or locking them shut. The truth about color blindness. We've all heard someone say, oh, I don't see color. It sounds nice, but McLaurin Harris call it a trap. When we pretend race doesn't exist, we're ignoring the real-life advantages that being white provides in this country. You can't fix a problem if you're pretending you can't even see the factor causing it. The performance tax. A lot of us grew up hearing we have to be twice as good to get half as much. Swasa calls this a performance tax. Minorities have to prove they are capable over and over again, while other people just get to benefit of the doubt. This tax drains your energy. It's a hidden barrier that the hard work myth completely ignores. The zip code lottery. Tracy Ore also shows how our merit is often decided before we're even born, just based off where we live. Since schools are funded by property taxes, rich neighborhoods get the best schools. We call it merit. When a kid gets into a top university, but we forget that their success was backed by a school system that was paid for before they even stepped into kindergarten. The resume bias gap. Hiring is where this myth really falls apart. Research shows that the resume with white-sounding names get 50% more calls than the exact same resume with a black-sounding name. Basically, a black applicant often needs 8 more years of experience just to get the same response. This shows that merit isn't some neutral thing. It's filtered through whoever is reading the paper. And I had a scenario like that where one of my siblings was applying for a college and they told him, you need to change your name because you will have more opportunities. And his name was Israel, but he was white complected and everything checked off except for the name. So I can confirm based off my opinion. That's an actual fact that actually really happened. And this was back in 2016, so not too long ago. The moving goalpost. Even when you do everything right, the goalposts move. As soon as marginalized groups start to win at something, the rules for success change. Suddenly, it's about cultural fit, which is usually just the code for, do you act and talk like us? The mental toll. There's a real mental cost here. When society tells you you're less than every day, you start to believe it. You start blaming yourself for not making it when the system was actually rigged against you. Changing the story means realizing your struggle isn't because you're worth, it's because of a broken system. Equity versus equality. We have to know the difference between equality and equity. Equality is giving everyone the same size 10 shoes. It looks fair, but it doesn't help the person who wears a size 7. Equity is giving everyone shoes that actually fit so they can run. We can't have a fair system until we fix the starting points. How we actually fix this. So, how do we fix it? First, we need to push for policy changes, like fixing how schools are funded. Second, we have to acknowledge privilege. It's not an insult, it's just being honest about your head start. Third, practice active allyship. If you have a seat at the table, pull a chair for someone else. And finally, stay educated. Keep reading the real stuff from people like Ore and Suasa. To wrap it up, success is something society builds. The less than label is a line meant to protect power. Getting real about race means being honest about how we give out an opportunity. Thanks for listening. I'd love to hear what you guys think.